Hey everybody, and welcome to Wide Angle Wednesday. My name is Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. I want to say thanks for joining us. We've got an amazing panelist of photographers. Today we're going to talk about making money with mini sessions.
Hi guys, I'm Lindsey Winkler. I live in Yukon, Oklahoma. I have been doing photography full-time for about 4 years, but about 10 years total. I did it alongside my X-ray job for a long time. It about killed me. But I just kept telling myself it was either really smart or really stupid to put in all the hard work, and it actually paid off. So it was a really smart move. I have 2 kids and a wonderful husband that's super supportive. Seniors are my jam. That's my favorite part of photography, but I kind of dabble in all of it.
I'm Cheryl Dell'Osso, and I work for Zenfolio. I also have been a photographer for probably 15 or so years now. I'm in North Carolina. I also love senior shoots, but my bread and butter has usually been family, children, and the occasional headshot.
First question we're going to start off with is, what is a mini session and how does it differ from a standard shoot?
A mini session, as its name implies, is a scaled down version of one of my standard sessions. In general, it's maybe 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, one location, one outfit. It reduces the number of proofs that I give to the client. For me, it's also lighter post-processing, so it's not really customized editing like I would do for maybe one of my boutique standard shoots. And it allows me to offer a high volume solution at times, even though I'm more of a boutique, very low volume type of photographer. So it fits in to my business model, but it's very different from my standard boutique shoots.
My mini sessions are significantly less in time than my standard sessions, and therefore the client gets less photos to choose from to have to sort through in a final product. Mine are about 20 minutes. Just like Cheryl, I sometimes go over, just depending on the client. I try not to rush my people through these, even though it is kind of a rush when you're doing mini sessions. But it's just the perfect length of time for those that don't need a standard full session. You know, they'll take about 20 minutes. You get about 15 edited photos as opposed to an hour and maybe 40 plus photos. And again, same with post-processing. The editing process is a little different, a little quicker. In one location, one outfit, just bang, bang, you're out.
What is the benefit of offering a mini session, and why should someone add it to their offerings if they're not already doing so?
Just like a mini session, its name, they're quicker, they're mini. This is best for what I've found for families with toddlers, with kids that can't hold, their attention very long, or for cranky husbands. My husband in particular does not love pictures. So we literally had one of my favorite photo sessions we've ever had as a family was 8 minutes long. My kids knew what to do. My husband had a football game to watch, and we were in and out in 8 minutes. And they're some of my favorite pictures I've ever had. So you can do a lot in a short amount of time. And I think that's what intimidates a lot of photographers is they think, I just can't cut it down that much. And sometimes it is very hard to do that. But it is beneficial for those mobile children that are going to run all over the place or the cranky husband. It's budget friendly for clients. Some clients, I joke that photography, having your pictures taken is a perk, not a priority for a lot of people. So some people can only spend as much as a mini session might be, once a year. And so it fits their budget better. It allows me to accommodate quantity, especially in the fall time when I'm super busy. I can do 8 or 10 clients in one day with mini sessions and not have to try to find other dates for all of these people in my busiest time of the year.
So benefit of offering mini sessions, they're great for certain holidays and certain times of year where people are looking for 1 or 2 images for maybe a card or a Valentine's Day gift. It's also great during foliage season or tulip season, or if you can find one location that works for you for several hours straight. For clients who haven't used me before, it's a way to experience professional photography because maybe they've never, and maybe one of my boutique sessions is just a little bit out of their reach, or they're just not, ready to dive that far in. And often they'll come back to me later for a session that year after that. So it's a nice intro. It's a lower price point, obviously, than my standard sessions. So it brings people in the door during busy times of year. Like Lindsey said, foliage or pre-holiday season, I'll reserve 1 or 2 days for mini sessions to accommodate clients that can't fit in my normal session, 2-hour session slots. It prevents them from going somewhere else. If I can get them in for just that 20 or 30 minutes because all they needed is a card, an image for a card right then, that's great. It's not for everybody. It's not a long time. You don't get to switch a million outfits, but it serves a really great purpose.
What are the most successful types of mini sessions that you've had in your experience?
For me, my most successful time of year for minis is the fall. Here in Oklahoma, that's the best primetime weather for the year. It's a very short window. And plus, it's right at the beginning of the holiday season. So people are really anxious to get new photos for Christmas cards, for gifts, and for the fall foliage, to capture that look. It's more comfortable for clothing and dress. The weather's more predictable. So for me, I will sell out of my fall mini session bookings by April or May each year. I advertise dates in so many slots, and they are pretty much taken before a week after I've advertised them.
Really, any session that can be less complicated than a full session. I wouldn't want to do one of my seniors as a mini session. Some of the boys maybe, but the girls like, a few different outfits, a few different locations. So one of the best types of sessions for a mini session is headshots. I can easily do every 15 minutes a headshot, especially if you're shooting studio. You set up 1 lighting, maybe 2 lighting setups, and you can shoot 15, 20 minutes all day long. I also like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day mini shoots. Those are great for, little products and little kids, ones that, aren't going to tolerate a 2-hour, multiple location, multiple outfit kind of scenario.
My next question would be, when and why did you start offering mini sessions?
I was probably a couple years into my business when I started trying my hand at mini sessions. I would see other photographers doing them with these really cute setups with tons of props, and Valentine's Day and Easter. And for me, that's my slowest time of year. And so I kind of got motivated to start them at that time of year just to drum up business, try to get more clientele and hit the holidays. Because, those kind of make for the cutest setups for minis if you're doing a bunch of props, is all the Valentine and flowers and Easter stuff and all that. So that's when I started doing it, just to kind of expand my business and kind of follow the trend.
I have to say that at first I didn't do many sessions, actually, for a long while. I didn't think it was a service that went well with my brand as a boutique photographer, but I realized it does have its place. As I said before, those who just need 1 or 2 images, I can provide high quality products in a short period of time and, accommodate some people into a busy schedule. So I started offering them. I keep my sessions super simple as my kind of style with photography. You don't use props usually at all. So mini sessions tend to have some props. Mine are still really, really minimal. And again, that's kind of a reason I wasn't really into the mini sessions at first, because I was like, I don't want to have to lug around props or choose props. But I found that you can have lots of great props or you can have minimal props, and it still works.
Lindsey, since you mentioned that just managing mini sessions can be a whole thing on its own, just curious, what have you used to kind of do booking through your mini sessions? Are there any tools that you've used?
Yes, I recently started using the Book Me feature with Zenfolio, and it has been an absolute game changer. I went from putting my mini session dates and times out on, social media or within my VIP group to get people to start booking. I went from having to communicate. I would start getting texts, phone calls, Facebook messages, posts on my post, comments. I had all of these different ways of people communicating with me, trying to find the time they wanted and how do I pay and all this. And it was just chaos for several days, just trying to get everyone booked. And then everyone wants the last session, which is the best time of day, if you're shooting in the evening. So with the Book Me feature, I can just put, here's the link, here's the information. You must pay when you book, and it's up to them on how fast they get it done and what times they pick and if they pay. And it has been amazing. So the days leading up to that, it's organized. Everyone gets email reminders. They've prepaid. So on the day of sessions, when I'm doing them back to back to back, I don't have to worry about collecting payment. All the information is just already out there. So that's been just an absolute lifesaver for sure.
Absolutely.
I often forget to collect payment because I'm so in the moment in many sessions. So Book Me allows me to forget about the financials of it and just do what I want to do, which is take a great shot. And I don't have two people asking for the same time and trying to figure out, okay, who asked first? Who am I going to disappoint? It's, as you said, first come, first serve. It's a really great tool for any type of session, but mini sessions especially.
Cheryl, can you walk us through the workflow for a day of mini sessions for you and what that looks like?
Sure can. Mini sessions can be a super long day, so you want to be prepared and hydrated. It has to work smoothly. I highly suggest an assistant. I know these are scaled down profit for you, so hiring an assistant might seem crazy, but there's a lot of pieces in motion. I like an assistant for my light, and I like an assistant to check people in, make sure they're dressed, that they don't have food on their face, that they know what's about to happen, and to make sure if I start to get off schedule, for them to say, hey, Cheryl, come on, we're going to move it along. And then I want to always make sure that my location before, that day, I want to scout out my location, make sure that you're not having to fuss with the sun coming in and out or moving. If you're shooting for several hours, open shade is obviously my favorite. In studio, it's the easiest. You can control the light and the weather, but making sure your clients have very clear instructions, that is probably one of the most important things. I finish shooting, I go home, back everything up multiple times and get everybody's galleries ready for them to be able to proof and purchase online.
Love it. What about you, Lindsey? What does your mini session day look like?
A lot like Cheryl's. I now think I need some assistance, though. I'm usually just flying solo, so having an assistant sounds really, really nice. I show up early on location. I primarily shoot outside. I do have a studio that I've acquired in August, so I'm starting to do a lot more studio stuff. But I show up early. Usually on my outdoor sessions, I don't have any props, or not many. I might have a beautiful antique couch that I take somewhere if the location accommodates that. But I like to kind of find my spot where I'm going to shoot, see how much traffic is where I'm at that day. The beautiful parks downtown Oklahoma City get pretty crowded. So I kind of like to go and just kind of stake my claim on my spot. I send reminders to my clients the morning of or the day before, just letting them know, make sure you show up 10 minutes early for your session, even though it's a quick session. Give yourself time to fight the traffic, get there, get your kids' clothing ready or get them dressed or whatnot, and be on time. I remind them to be super punctual since we have so many back to back to back. That's about it.
We've kind of talked about this a little bit, but maybe we can elaborate a little bit more. Do you use themed props? And if so, what do you use?
I don't go overboard on my props. There are some area photographers that just go nuts and they pull it off and it looks great. And it's just not something it's not my passion. So this past fall, I did offer some fall mini sessions at my studio, and I brought in a beautiful green couch, had an old wooden ladder there with a bunch of pumpkins piled all around, just everywhere. And that was it. And I had a beautiful white, kind of shabby chic background. So it was simple, but still something thrown in there. So I kind of just stay simple. I'm not super extravagant with them, but usually a beautiful couch or chair, and then, some accessories with that, if I do props at all.
Cheryl, any thoughts on props? I know you said you don't typically, but I'm sure you've probably used a few before at least.
So my props are kind of nature's props. If I'm shooting in the fall, I might gather some leaves. And if I'm at the local pumpkin patch, obviously the props are the pumpkins. It is nice to have something with them, especially if there's a couple people in the shot or a few people in the shot. It helps you pose a little bit easier, but I don't like a lot of things distracting. I'm not a live animal prop person unless you bring your own live animal, like it's yours, that's fine. But I've never brought in like chicks or something, bunnies. I've never done that. And inside, if I'm doing a backdrop shoot, like I've done Valentine's Day mini sessions, have these little really pretty paper cutout, like almost like streamers that run behind. So they're proppy, but people aren't really touching them. It's just a little bit of an accent, more of a background prop.
How long are your typical mini sessions and how many do you try to schedule in one day? What's your ideal time length and maybe your ideal number of sessions to do in one day?
I try to keep my minis about 20 minutes long. I do go over quite often just because I'm a perfectionist and I want to make sure my clients feel like they got every bit of me in that short amount of time. I do kind of give a buffer in between every client. Like I said, like leave 5 to 10 minutes in between every client for that overlap. I used to do around 15 in a day, and I've cut it down to 8 to 10 is all I will do. Due to lighting, just if the weather's crazy in Oklahoma and I'm doing outdoor minis, just it's less people to have to reschedule to another date in my already busy season. So I put a limit on myself of 8 to 10. It just seems to work best for me. And I really hate sacrificing quality over my quantity. And that has happened in the past when I've tried to accommodate too many in a day. And I feel like my business, I wouldn't say suffers, but the quality might suffer just because I try to accommodate a quantity. So my happy place is 8 to 10.
I'm going to again say what a great point Lindsey made there with this is your reputation. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew in this situation because it's not going to benefit you. Know your limits for sure. Start off slow and work your way up. You don't want to book a full day of mini sessions the first time you do this. You will never want to do it again. I try to do 20-minute mini sessions with 10 to 15 minutes in between. I won't do more than 4 to 5 hours straight. It might be shorter than that, even if the lighting isn't going to hold the whole time. I don't want to shoot in a situation where my images aren't going to be up to my standards. So if I'm going to lose light, then it's 3 hours. I will only, shoot for as good as the light is good, unless I'm bringing light with me. And then, of course, you can extend that out quite a bit. If I'm shooting inside, I can do it all day long. That's, like a full day of mini session headshots where I can go, 9 to 5, with a lunch break and some different little breaks in between. There's a lot less work in shooting in a studio with adults than babies in a pumpkin patch.
What are some ways that you've advertised your mini sessions? Did you see anything that worked really well, or were there things that didn't work?
Anyone that has had a full session with me in the past, I add them to my VIP Facebook group. They are the first ones to hear about any mini sessions or specials I might be doing. Usually that's all it takes on my fall mini sessions is to put that out there in that little group and I'm booked up solid. It's just the people I have. That's what they love those fall mini sessions. Spring sessions, minis, my Valentine minis, which I haven't done Valentine minis in several years because they just don't always take off for me. Sometimes if I have to, I'll put it out through a big bulk email or Facebook, Instagram, my stories. I put it out there on social media and try to book more that way if they're just not selling in the VIP group.
I have a little bit of the same setup as Lindsey has. If you've shot a couple of times with me during the year, you'll get early booking for an event like that. It can book up. I try to make sure that I have enough for new clients also though, because I really feel like it's a great way to bring in new people and those clients that I've had for a while have been telling their friends about their sessions. And I like to have them refer them during that time and build my client list. Facebook, Instagram, but word of mouth really it's just the best. You can't get any better than people talking, showing their images and talking you up and being really excited about your product. I'd have to say what doesn't work for me is paid advertising, honestly. It's never paid off for me. I just don't do it anymore. I tried it at first. It seemed like, well, of course I'm going to pay for advertising. But honestly, word of mouth, social media, using, the clients that you've had in the past to be your advocate, to promote for you, works best for me. Also, pairing up with another vendor, for example, the local pumpkin patch or the Christmas tree farm. That's a great way to make sure that the news is spread a little bit further than your network. So that helps.
Do you recommend adding products to your mini sessions? What does your typical mini session package look like?
It depends on the mini session, but I think digital downloads are what a lot of clients are looking from these sessions, especially if they're a promotion where I'm saying, get your images for your holiday cards. Sure, I can do the holiday cards for them, but for the most part, clients can and want to do this themselves. So digital download packages for sure, high res always. And then depending on the time of year, it might be a special product, another package with an ornament, or I always allow them to buy, a la carte items out of a package for small prints for aunts, uncles, grandparents.
I'm pretty much digitals as well. I try to upsell on my galleries with minis because, they get so excited and they see all these pictures that we took in their proof gallery, and then they only get 15 and they're like, oh, but wait, I like these 5 extras, so I do upsell a lot per image. Again, it's an upsell of a digital product, but they always have the option with my Zenfolio galleries to purchase any photo from there if they want to buy extra products themselves. But I usually don't add on any prints or anything else. It's all digital.
How do you deal with outdoor sessions and inclement weather?
That definitely can get tricky. I learned the hard way in the beginning when I would book a bunch of outdoor mini sessions. I try my darndest to have a backup date available for each set of mini sessions I do, which is hard because I could be filling that with other sessions. But trying to scramble and reschedule 10 families for another date that all of them can do and hope that the weather is good again is very challenging. So I try to just block off an extra date.
I don't know any other way to do it. I rain date every single booking I have. I say this, pick one date and then pick a rain date. I do it for the mini sessions too. There's nothing worse than thinking you're going to have your pictures taken, being all ready, and then not getting it in that season. And it definitely can happen for, a really busy photographer. If you don't have rain dates set away, you're going to have disappointed clients. If your business is strong, the rain dates that you didn't need, have a flash sale, put it out on Facebook, contact that person that has been meaning to get their pictures taken and fill that date.
What if your client cannot make that rain date that you offered? Do you offer a refund or do you apply the fees to another session?
I give mine the option. They can transfer their balance. If they can't make that date, it's Mother Nature. It's out of their control. It's out of my control. I try to offer another date, even if it's the next season or on a weeknight or, when I'm not doing mini sessions at all. I try to just fit them in wherever they can and wherever I can. If it just absolutely will not work out, then I will give them a refund. But I try my darndest to just get them in somewhere because they wanted the pictures, so.
Yeah, the goal is to make sure that they get their pictures. I will only hold money for about 6 months. So if nothing's happening within 6 months, I'll refund them. And that's for inclement weather. If it's on my end, I've somehow needed to cancel and it's, then, and we can't get it rescheduled, then they'll get their money back and they'll get a discount for the next shoot due to inconvenience on my behalf.
On a 30-minute mini session, how many images are you guaranteeing to edit and deliver to the client? Is there a difference for if it's a portrait or a headshot session?
It's pretty much the same for a 30-minute mini session. It's about 15 images. They will look a little bit more similar on a headshot, obviously, but I try to get different angles, different smiles. If they have a different shirt to put on, then we'll do that also.
With my mini sessions, I spend, again, 20 to 30 minutes. I'll take, quite a few pictures in that time. And what I do is I go home and soft edit them and I put them in a proof gallery for the clients. Same with headshots. I don't spend a lot of time. I don't fully edit all of those images. They get to see all of the best pictures from their session and they narrow down to their top 15 favorites. And those are the ones I will go back in and fully edit. And those are the ones they get to download. So it saves me a huge amount of time on culling and sorting and editing by doing that. And then they feel like they have a lot of control. So just a side note there.
If your customer is hot and perspiring, do you correct that in post?
We try to keep our clients nice and cool. My assistant has been known to use the reflector to fan people, but I would definitely edit out sweat. Again, anything that's not permanent, I will remove. The hardest thing is in North Carolina in the heat of and humidity of August is frizzy hair. The editing on that is, I will do some, but that's an extra charge to really take out huge mounts of frizz. That's hours of editing.
I try to kind of divert my seniors. My senior season starts in June through, the end of their year, but I try to kind of talk my seniors out of July because it's miserable, 108 degrees with humidity, 100% humidity. But yes, I edit out all the pit sweat and the little sweat marks on their shirts or the glow on their face, frizzy hair, like Cheryl mentioned. I do that the best I can without it compromising the photo, because if you get too crazy with the flyaways, it just doesn't even look anymore. But yes, I do my absolute best.
Well, guys, we are out of time. I do want to let Lindsey let you guys know where to go to follow her. If you have any final thoughts or anything you want to say to everybody, Lindsey, go ahead and take a few minutes and just share where you want people to go to follow you and find out more about you.
Okay, thank you very much. On social media, I'm LKW. That's LKW Photography. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as LKW Photo. That's my senior page. Like I said, I specialize primarily in seniors. So that's where I usually direct people to. I also have an LKW lifestyle page, which some of my family work and kids and stuff that I do a little bit less than my seniors. And I, of course, have a website on Zenfolio. It's lkwphotography.net.
I am portraits by Cheryl with a CHERYL.com and seniors by Cheryl.com. And if you have questions about photography, I'm Cheryl at Zenfolio.com also. I run the customer success department, and I'd be happy to take any questions that other people didn't get in today.